Will this wild winter storm flip your week? Weather update: American cities number 142, get ready, because this winter is about to throw us a massive curveball. Right now, as we speak, a pretty dangerous storm is ripping across the southeast, bringing a serious risk of severe weather throughout the day. We are looking at damaging winds and even the possibility of a few tornadoes popping up through the evening hours. If you are planning on watching the Daytona 500, you definitely need to keep an eye on the sky. But honestly, that is just the beginning of a very wild week ahead today. Once this current system pushes out tonight, everything is going to change. Colder air is set to surge in, flipping the entire national weather pattern on its head. This shift is going to open the door for not just one but two major winter storms next week. The first one is a doozy, expected to dump up to 8 feet of snow in the mountains, while triggering a very rare severe weather threat for the West Coast. It is a total reversal of what we usually see, and it will be incredibly active now. As that first storm crosses the Rockies, a major winter threat will develop across the Midwest and Northeast. This is not just a little dusting. We are talking about heavy snow and ice for millions of people. And before we can even catch our breath, a second winter storm is likely to follow late in the week, potentially leading to even more problems. The sheer contrast in temperatures across the country is going to fuel this volatile stretch, with some areas bracing for ice while others sweat. So in this forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about this upcoming pattern change. We are talking about impacts that will stretch from coast to coast, affecting travel, outdoor plans, and even your heating bill. First, let's dive deeper into the severe weather potential for today. We have a slight risk in place for parts of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. This means that damaging straight-line winds and isolated tornadoes are on the table through tonight's hours. This system is already showing its teeth. Yesterday was incredibly active, with tornadoes touching down in several spots across the South. Even as most people were sleeping last night, multiple tornadoes were reported in Mississippi. Thankfully, the overall threat level for today looks a bit lower than what we dealt with overnight, and most of the action should happen during the daylight hours. Currently, we have a line of thunderstorms moving through Alabama and the Florida Panhandle area today. These storms are mainly packing a punch with damaging winds and some hail. By mid-afternoon, this line will be pushing towards Savannah and Jacksonville, likely arriving around 5 p.m. As we move into the evening, the focus shifts to Orlando, Tampa, and Daytona Beach. For the racing fans out there, the good news is that the most intense storms should hold off until after 7 p.m. tonight, which hopefully means the main event stays clear. However, once the sun goes down, that line will intensify. After the race, things could get pretty rowdy. That line will slide south toward Port St. Lucie and Miami before finally fading out overnight. By Monday morning, the East Coast will start to clear out, but that is just the calm before the next storm. The weather is actually going to get even crazier as we head into the new work week. While the exiting storm might leave a tiny coating of snow in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, it is mostly a rain event for the big cities along the Atlantic coast now. The real story flips to the West Coast on Monday. We are tracking a rare 2% tornado risk for California, including major hubs like Los Angeles and even up near San Francisco. It is not every day you see a tornado threat in Cali, so this is something everyone out there needs to take seriously. This West Coast system is no joke. It is going to dump massive amounts of rain along the coast and incredible totals of snow in the higher elevations. We could easily see 5 feet of snow in the Sierra. In some spots, those snow totals could even climb up to 8 feet in the Cascades. Flooding is a major concern for Monday afternoon, especially around the Los Angeles basin. There is even a sneaky chance for a tornado or two to spin up near the coast as the atmospheric energy peaks. By Monday evening, all that moisture starts its journey over the Rockies to fuel our next big system. Come Tuesday, things get windy. We are looking at high winds howling across the central and northern plains area. It will be a very blustery day in states like Nebraska and South Dakota, but the real moisture does not arrive until Tuesday night and early Wednesday. That is when the brand new winter storm takes shape. Initially, the heaviest impacts will be felt in Saskatchewan, where heavy snow will be the main story. But by Wednesday, the storm pushes into the northern plains and the upper Midwest, bringing heavy snow to North Dakota and Minnesota. It is going to be a messy commute for many people there. As we move into late Wednesday, the storm system actually starts to break into two distinct parts. While the northern side continues to drop snow on the plains, a new area of low pressure will develop in the northeast. This is where things could get messy with a mix of heavy snowfall and freezing rain. We are anticipating at least a few inches of accumulation, and that ice could make travel treacherous for many on Wednesday evening. It is a complex setup that requires a very close watch now. But wait, there is even more to this story. Just as that first wave is hitting the northeast, another piece of energy will come crashing over the Rockies late Wednesday into Thursday. This second wave is going to bring even more rain and snow back to the west coast before heading east. This particular storm has the potential to impact tens of millions of people as it travels. By Thursday and Friday, we could see a massive stretch of weather affecting everything from the Great Lakes to the south. The latest modeling shows a very interesting split in the atmosphere. On the warm side of the system, a line of thunderstorms could stretch from Illinois all the way into the mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. Meanwhile, on the cold western side, heavy snow is expected to hammer parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas. Because this storm is smaller in scale, the forecast is still a bit fluid. I would not be surprised at all to see the models shift south, putting Chicago right in the bullseye for snow. By the time we hit late Friday and early Saturday, more moisture will once again spill over the Rockies. This could set the stage for a severe weather setup across the Tennessee Valley and the southeast. While that is brewing, light snow will likely continue to fall across the Central Plains and the Great Lakes as we head into next weekend. It is worth noting that some spots, like western Nebraska, have barely seen any snow this winter, and while help is coming, it may not be a huge amount yet. Looking at the big picture for snowfall over the next week, we are expecting a pretty widespread 3 to 7 inches for most of the upper Midwest. Of course, these numbers are subject to change based on the exact track of Friday's storm. For my friends in Chicago, we are currently eyeing 1 to 2 inches, but that could easily trend higher if the system dips further south. It is all about the fine details right now, and the models are working hard to resolve those specific tracks today. Over in the northeast, my confidence is much higher for a decent snow event. We are looking at a solid 4 to 8 inches of snow, particularly for folks in Vermont, upstate New York, and New Hampshire. Other surrounding areas should also pick up several inches of the white stuff through Sunday night. It has been a bit of a wait for some winter lovers, but the next 7 days are finally delivering some consistent action. Just make sure your shovels are ready for the middle of the week now. Now, if you are not a fan of the cold, I actually have some wild news for the southern and central United States. We are about to witness a record-breaking heat wave. Starting tomorrow, a massive area will experience temperatures ranging from 25 to 35 degrees above the seasonal average. It is going to feel more like late spring than the middle of February. This warmth is going to be incredibly widespread, stretching across the heart of the country and challenging long-standing record highs. By Tuesday and Wednesday, the heat goes into overdrive. We are looking at areas from Wichita Falls, Texas, all the way up into Minnesota, seeing temperatures staggering 40 degrees above average. This heat dome is going to be stubborn, refusing to move until at least Thursday or Friday. The contrast between this record warmth and the winter storms to the north is exactly what is fueling the volatility in the atmosphere. It is like two different seasons are fighting for control of the map today. Once those winter storms finally push through, the hammer is going to drop. We are expecting temperatures to plummet, and there are strong hints in the long-range models of a legitimate Arctic blast arriving by the start of next week. The GFS model is currently showing a massive lobe of cold air plunging south, which would bring well below average temperatures to a huge chunk of the country. This would be a shock to the system after the record-breaking heat we will see earlier in the week. As we look toward the final week of February, the forecast becomes a bit more like a puzzle with missing pieces. While things look uncertain right now, the potential for high-impact weather remains. We will be watching for any signs of major systems that could disrupt travel as we transition into March. It is always a battle this time of year between the retreating winter and the advancing spring. I will be here to guide you through every update, so stay weather aware and stay safe out there.